Good afternoon. I'm Will Norton, Professor and Dean of the Meek School. And it is my privilege to welcome you to our commencement exercises for the year 2013. If you are able, rise for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Please join me in thanking our excellent musicians, Susan Gaston, cello, Diane Wang, flute, Robert Riggs, violin. Our soloist is Neil Ann Parker, a graduate student in the Meek School. This is a day of celebration for the Meek School and for each of you, and we are delighted today to be a part of your lives. It is my privilege to introduce members of the platform delegation, but in addition to that, I would like to welcome a special guest. 50 years ago this year, a young man from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, made history when he became the first African American to be graduated from the University of Mississippi. He and his wife, Dr. Judith Meredith, assistant professor in the Department of Mass Communications at Jackson State University, are here today as guests, the guests of Kimberly Dandridge, one of our graduating seniors, and the first African-American woman to be elected Associated Student Body president. Mr. James and Dr. Judith Meredith, would you please stand so we may give you a warm Ole Miss welcome? The faculty of the school have worked diligently to help make this day possible, and I want to introduce each faculty member who is on the platform today. I'm asking each faculty member to stand and remain standing when I call his or her name. After we have introduced everybody, we will express our appreciation for their work. Professor Joe Atkins, head of the graduate faculty in journalism. Dr. Kathleen Wickham, Associate Professor. Dr. Brad Schultz, Associate Professor. Dr. Nancy DuPont, Associate Professor. Dr. Mark Dolan, Associate Professor. Associate Professor Deb Wenger. Curtis Wilkie, Associate Professor and Overby Fellow. Dr. Christy Swain, Assistant Professor. Pat Thompson, Assistant Professor and Director of the Student Media Center. Charlie Mitchell, Assistant Dean and Assistant Professor. Dr. Jim Lump, Assistant Professor and Head of the Graduate Program in Integrated Marketing Communications. Assistant Professor Cynthia Joyce. Scott Feeney, Assistant Professor and Head of Integrated Marketing Communication. Assistant Professor Vanessa Gregory. Assistant Professor Mickey Harris. Robin Street, Lecturer. Deidre Jackson, Lecturer. Bill Rose, Instructor and Overby Fellow. Visiting Professional Evangeline Robinson. Instructor John Baker. Instructor Ellen Meacham. Beth Fitz, Director of the Mississippi Scholastic Press Association. I'm asking Mrs. Fitz, the Director of the Mississippi Scholastic Press Association, to come to the lectern. Ms. Fitz has made an enormous difference for high school journalism in this state. She taught journalism for 27 years, including 22 years as Oxford High School before joining the journalism school faculty in 2005. During her years at Oxford High School, she advised the Charger newspaper, which won All-American rating beginning in 1988 and the National Scholastic Press Association Pacemaker Awards beginning in 2001 and 2002. Progression's literary magazine, which she also advised, received Gold and Silver Crown awards from the Columbia Scholastic Press Association. The newspaper fund named Beth Fitz the 2003 National High School Teacher of the Year. Rich Holden, executive director of the fund, reached Mrs. Fitz by telephone at her home to tell her of the news. But she felt as though she were in a dream. "Can you say that one more time?" she asked. And he told her again that she had been named High School Teacher of the Year. She was quiet for a moment, processing what he had said. Then she blurted out, "God is so good. I'm so excited." During the 2011 and 2012 academic year, Ms. Fitz received the James Frederick Paschal Award for outstanding service to State Scholastic Press Association and the 88th Annual Convention of the Columbia Scholastic Press Association at Columbia University. Ms. Fitz is retiring today, and we wanted to recognize her for what she's done for the Meek School and for high school journalism throughout the United States. Today, in recognition of her commitment to high school journalism, we are announcing a $25,000 Beth Fitz Scholarship Endowment for an MSPA student who majors in journalism at the Meek School on the Ole Miss campus. Beth, let us say this one more time so you can be excited. A $25,000 Beth Fitz Scholarship Endowment to recognize your commitment to excellence. Today's speaker is Sharon Alfonsi, an Emmy Award-winning journalist who is correspondent for 60 Minutes Sports. The Tyndall Report describes her as one of the most visible American journalists on television. On May 16, almost a year ago, I had learned that the chancellor was trying to arrange a meeting with Ms. Alfonsi when he was in New York City, and I thought I would write her. "Sharon," I wrote, "your career has your fellow alumni talking, and we are hoping that you will be able to meet the chancellor. He would love to know about your time at Ole Miss." Then I made sure she knew that we were interested in her, and she said, "Will, thank you so much for the note. The last time I was called to meet with the chancellor, my roommate and I had clipped tulips from the grove to brighten our dorm room. It turns out that the grove is not a cutting garden." Oops. Sharon Alfonsi is such a winsome personality because she is so transparent. More importantly, she's an intrepid reporter who is committed to informing the public. There is a buzz about her among the elite of the networks. After leaving Ole Miss, Ms. Alfonsi worked at KHOG in Fort Smith, Arkansas, WVEC-TV in Norfolk, Virginia, KIRO-TV, the CBS affiliate in Seattle, and the CBS affiliate WBZ-TV in Boston, before joining the parent network in New York in 2003 as a correspondent and as an anchor. She left CBS in 2008 to join ABC News. Then last February, she accepted a position with 60 Minute Sports, a sports news magazine that airs on sister network Showtime, where Ms. Alfonsi is doing more in-depth reporting. 60 Minutes co-produces 60 Minute Sports. Thus, Ms. Alfonsi now is back at CBS. More significantly, today she is back home. And we can say, Sharon, welcome home. Faculty, distinguished guests, graduates, relatives, and friends, please welcome Sharon Alfonsi, a distinguished Ole Miss grad.
Thank you. Thank you. What an honor this is to be here, Mr. Meredith, to be here with you today. It's just unbelievable. And I'm sitting here next to Curtis Wilkie, so my heart's about stopped. So I'm going to try to pull it together for you all. Dean Norton, parents, faculty, friends, and graduates, good afternoon and congratulations. To be clear, I know exactly why I was chosen to give this amazing opportunity to speak to you on such an important day. It is not because of my impressive journalism awards. It is not because you want to hear stories from war zones. It is not even because of my terrific head of big Southern hair. I know the one and only reason I must be here is that Shepard Smith was clearly not available. Still, let me thank you for this tremendous honor. I graduated from Ole Miss with a degree in journalism, as the dean said, roughly 104 years ago today. There was no journalism school at that time. It wasn't a popular choice. It was believed that the smart students went to the School of Pharmacy, because clearly it takes a genius to count pills and hand out ointment. Those who were especially talented pursued fine arts degrees, because you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on your college education before you make pottery. And then there were the kids from the School of Engineering. Now, I actually didn't ever hang out with anyone from the School of Engineering, but neither did anyone else. So I think you get the idea. Still, it was believed that journalism students were the misfits, the odd ones. Looking at you all today, next to this new gorgeous journalism school, I am delighted to see that nothing has changed. It looks a little like Scooby-Doo's mystery van got lost and you all hopped out the back. I see the Velmas, sporting glasses and comfortable shoes, with dreams of working at NPR or The Economist. The Freds, who hope their good looks and smart ascots might lead to a seat at the anchor desk at the local TV station. And of course, the Shaggies, those who spend a little too much time inside the smoke-filled booth at Rebel Radio, emerging only for Scooby snacks. Now, parents, if you fear your child is a Shaggy, and a tip is they may be wearing flip-flops or Tevas with their caps and gowns today, don't worry. The good news is you will be seeing a lot of them. They will likely be living in your basement for the next 10 years, emerging every time they have a problem with the Wi-Fi. But I am here to deliver good news to you all today, graduates. As you know, the economy is just pumping. High-paying journalism jobs are everywhere. And as a person who has lived in New York City for the last decade, I am delighted to report that the media elite has absolutely no preconceived notions about people from Mississippi. And that story about the Elvis impersonator who may or may not have been set up by a karate instructor, who may or may not have tried to poison the president, really helped things. I am here to tell you everything that I know, so this will take roughly 23 seconds. When I was applying for jobs my senior year, I sent my resume tape to 24 television stations. Most of them did not call or write back, but one news director did write back. Here's what he wrote, and this is an excerpt from the actual letter. Dear Miss Alfonsi, thank you for your application for the news reporter position. Unfortunately, we have hired a qualified applicant. The word qualified was underlined. I know you are beginning your career, so please allow me to give you a bit of feedback. Your reporting skills show some promise. However, you need a lot of work. Your hair is too big. Your accent is too thick. And overall, you look a little equine on camera. Now, for those of you who didn't catch that, he just called me equine. He said I looked like a horse. He went on, best of luck with your career in television. I look forward to seeing more of your work. Now, then he signed his name, and side note, it looked like the kind of writing of a serial killer. Now, a normal person would have finished a bottle of Maker's Mark and started filling out applications at the racetrack. But I was actually encouraged by this letter. He said he wanted to see more of my work. This leads me to my first piece of advice. Do not take no for an answer. Not when you're applying for jobs, not when you actually get a job. People will tell you, no, we're not hiring. No, I don't want to do an interview with you. No, you may not sleep on my porch and use my cat as a pillow until I change my mind. Keep pressing. You are applying for work in journalism, not trying to get hired as a social secretary. The people who may hire you respect grit. They respect tenacity. And in my experience, I have found they are generally unlikely to issue a restraining order. Now, if you, like me, were raised by a beautiful, genteel mother with exceedingly good manners, being pushy will make you wildly uncomfortable. But keep at it. Prove that you want it. The food court at the mall is littered with journalism students who didn't fight for it. Fight for it. And if you somehow get an offer to do any job, no matter how small or insignificant in the field you want to work in, take it. There is no job too small. Yes, it is true if you do the math. Or, since you're a journalism graduate, if you have your roommate do the math. You would likely make more money working at a Cracker Barrel than in your first job in journalism. And if you worked at Cracker Barrel, you would get to eat your weight in delicious fried apples and get discounts on sock monkeys. But take the journalism job. It will pay off eventually. You will never work harder, but you will never have more fun. It will not be easy. You will want to quit. I've wanted to quit a dozen times over the last decade. Really? I have to come in at 2 a.m. and turn a story for Good Morning America because Lindsay Lohan forgot her underpants again? Really? I'm 8 months pregnant and there's no one else at this entire network you can send to cover a hurricane. And seriously, after I just spent 5 hours in the driving rain covering the hurricane, you're gonna call and complain about my hair? Really? For every one of those crappy days, you'll have 10 great ones. Really? I'm going to the White House today to interview the president? Really? I'm spending the day watching the strapping young men on the Yale crew team work out? And I'm getting paid for this? Fantastic. And while those days might make you feel great, on top of the world almost, you might even think, hey, I've made it, and relax and get comfortable. Here's my next piece of advice. Don't get comfortable, ever. I recently got a job at 60 Minutes Sports. The show is entirely produced and presented by the 60 Minutes team you're used to seeing every Sunday night. But it appears on Showtime, so technically we could cuss. Now I won't, but we could. It is the dream I have always wanted to have, that job. Actually, when I was little, I dreamed of being Mrs. George Michael, but it became pretty clear when he married a man, that wasn't a great option. So I set my sights on CBS, and specifically on 60 Minutes. I wanted to be a great reporter, not an anchor, a reporter. In my mind, Mike Wallace's blistering interviews were art. No one was cooler than Ed Bradley. But I set my sights on 60 Minutes after watching a young Meredith Vieira go head-to-head with casino magnate Steve Wynn. I can't remember what she asked him, but he ripped his mic off and at one point threatened to strangle her. It was delicious. I knew in that moment I wanted to do that. Not get strangled, but the other part. Working my way up the ladder in local news directors displaying bouts of seriously impaired judgment offered me jobs to anchor the news. Now, for those of you who don't know, anchoring in a local market generally means you get more money, you have some editorial control, and best of all, you might even get your face on the side of a bus or a billboard right next to an advertisement for check cashing or a gentleman's club. In a word, prestige. It would be a more comfortable life, I was sure, but I had my eye on being a reporter and knew that anchoring would take me off the streets. So to the bewilderment of my bosses, I passed the jobs up. If you're not too comfortable, it's always easier to leave, to move on, and hopefully to move up. So now that I have my dream job, you'd think I'd relax and get comfortable. You'd be wrong. See, the thing is, when you have your dream job, especially when people like Scott Pelley, Leslie Stahl, and Morley Safer work just down the hall, you're pretty sure you're the admissions mistake. I am fairly confident that I am. This is not false modesty, it is a fact. I am not the smartest person who ever worked in a newsroom. I do not have an Ivy League education or an exotic accent that makes me sound worldly. But I am scrappy as hell. And in journalism, scrappy counts. Which brings me to my third piece of advice. There are no shortcuts. I used to work for ABC News. Disney owns ABC News, in case you didn't know. When I arrived there, they called me, quote, a cast member, and told me that I got special perks at the theme parks. One of my colleagues later informed me that at Disney, you can pay extra money to get a pass that allows you essentially to get to the front of the line for rides. I found this appalling, and then immediately asked, where do I get one? But it turns out the thing is, if you cut to the front of the line, you just don't enjoy the ride as much, really. You need to sweat with the masses. You need to watch the weaker or perhaps wiser people who can't handle it quit. It's fun to make friends with people along the way. Not the guy wearing the I'm with Goofy t-shirt and bedazzled denim shorts, but the other people. Along the way, you will meet people you will never forget. Characters like no other. I can't remember half the stories I did, but I remember just about every fantastic photographer or producer along the way. They acted as my teachers, my psychiatrists, and often my parole officers. They still do. One of my favorites, Danny Murata, a veteran photographer from South Boston. He fought in Vietnam and reminded me whenever I got stressed, it's just TV, pal. It's just TV. Don't take yourself too seriously. No one else will. You work in journalism. You're not performing heart surgery. On a good day, you will tell somebody something they don't know. I have taxi drivers who do that regularly, and they don't get awards for it. On a great day, you'll dig deeper. You'll tell a story so well, it gets attention. It changes lives, policy, or conversation. Those days, I'm not gonna lie, are golden. Strive for them. And if you don't know exactly how to do that as you sit here right now, don't sweat it. You have made your way through what I believe is honestly one of the best journalism schools in the country. Still, most of the important lessons you're gonna learn about journalism, you've yet to learn. Your professors are passing you on to a new set of teachers, newspaper editors with nicotine patches, guys carrying a camera in one hand and a Dunkin' Donuts coffee in the other, and office secretaries who know more than you will ever forget. So listen to them, be humble, and graduates, this is the most important thing I can tell you, be nice to everyone. It is great to have an important or interesting job, but I am telling you that in the long run, it is more important than almost anything you do to be nice. Now, since we're in the South, and most people are already pretty nice, I feel I should clarify. Don't confuse nice with what I call stupid nice. Nice is carrying a tripod for a photographer who's already loaded down with equipment. Stupid nice is saying to him, don't worry, you don't need to carry a light kit too. I'm a natural beauty. Nice is congratulating a colleague when they do a good job. Stupid nice is saying to that same colleague, you did such a good job, why don't you just go ahead and interview the president instead of me? Don't be stupid nice, be nice. There will be days when this will take everything you've got. I have met some honestly horrific people along the way, and right now I would like to take the opportunity to name each one of them by name. Seriously. There was one senior producer I worked for who was so nasty, she went out of her way to try and make my life miserable. Often she succeeded. She made me want to quit. Then I remembered something my father used to tell me before every track meet. Well, first he would say, make sure you tie your laces, Einstein. And then he'd say, ignore the competition and just run your race. Throughout your career, people will try to distract you. Some will scream at you, others will say things behind your back, and a few feral animals will literally try to throw their stiletto heel in your lane and trip you. Keep your eyes straight ahead, and graduates, run your race. Don't worry about what others are doing. They're nothing more than a distraction. Drown out the critics. Don't engage in office politics or gossip. Don't worry about the guy next to you. Run your race. Now, I am the first to admit I am a cautionary tale here. I was running so hard, working so much, I looked up one day and realized suddenly, oh crap, I forgot to have kids. It was literally like that. I was opening Christmas cards from friends, and suddenly their babies were teenagers. The good news is I was married and had been for 15 years to a man who is a saint, and fortunately, we keep the house stocked with lots of wine, so we quickly remedied the situation, and I now have 2 toddlers. But y'all, I am 40 years old and I have 2 toddlers. I am exhausted. So, can you have it all? Yes, you can. But can you have it all at once? Not so much. Sometimes it will be all about your career. Other times it'll be about your family or your kids. Expect it to shift, expect it to change, and that is okay. That is life. Your life will have chapters, complete with crazy characters, villains, and a plot you can't even imagine as you sit here today. It's a lot like a Scooby-Doo episode. You're gonna see things you can't believe. Surround yourself with good friends. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. The Haunted Mansion is not a great shortcut. Break up the plots of villains, and don't worry about Scooby snacks. You're an Ole Miss grad. Grab a bourbon and enjoy the ride. Thank you all. Kiss your parents, hug your mothers. Good luck and congratulations.
I'm sorry I told you she was transparent. Now we recognize our graduates. Will the candidates for the Master of Arts please rise and come forward for conferring of degrees? Please hold your applause until the candidates have been recognized.
Peter John Cleary.
Peter is receiving his Master of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in integrated marketing communications. During his time at Ole Miss, he served for almost a decade helping students at the Student Media Center with the creative and technical aspects of putting together the Daily Mississippian. He was also a web developer for University Communications, is a member of Kappa Tau Alpha Honor Society, and in his spare time enjoys cooking and playing golf. Peter looks forward to continuing to educate future generations of marketing and communication students.
Kevin Ray Kozart.
Kevin is receiving his Master of Arts in journalism with an emphasis in integrated marketing communications. For the past year, Kevin has served as president of the Graduate Student Council after having served previously as the Meek School's senator for the council. He is a member of Kappa Tau Alpha and Gamma Beta Phi. He is also the coordinator of operations for the Sarah Isom Center for Women and Gender Studies. Kevin would like to thank his sister for teaching him that taking on too much is relative and for being an inspiration.
Brittany Michelle Duhan.
Brittany is receiving her master's in integrated marketing communications. She is a native of Gulfport and is the daughter of Brenda Duhan. She is a member of Gamma Beta Phi Honor Society as well as Kappa Tau Alpha National Honor Society. Brittany served as the Director of Communications for the Graduate Student Council and was also a graduate assistant in the Meek School. She's also a charter member and vice president of the Ole Miss chapter of the American Marketing Association and a member of Alpha Kappa sorority. She just accepted a position as the new sales and marketing coordinator for the Sheraton in New Orleans.
Jawan Lavelle McNeil.
Jawan is the son of Earl and Jackie Pettis of Oxford and the soon-to-be husband of Joya Bland. He received a bachelor's degree from the Meek School of Journalism and New Media in 2011. He says the best part of spending the last 2 years studying integrated marketing communications has been sharpening skills and learning to deliver on both the core creative idea and how to make sure your messaging is both succinct and productive. In the future, Jawan hopes to work in cross-cultural branding or in social media marketing.
Mary Faye Stanton.
Mary is a master's in journalism graduate from New Albany. She is a member of Kappa Alpha and received the 2013 Top Scholar Award from that organization. She also received the 2013 Graduate Achievement Award in Journalism and New Media. Mary is a broadcast communications specialist in the University of Communications here at Ole Miss.
Benjamin Kyle Tucker.
Ben is the son of Daniel and Terry Tucker of Boonville and is receiving his Master's of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in integrated marketing communication. During his time at Ole Miss, Ben has worked with the Office of Outreach, University Communications, the Meek School of Journalism and New Media, and the Ole Miss football team. He is a member of the Ole Miss M Club, Kappa Tau Alpha, and Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. He earned his Bachelor of Business Administration from Ole Miss in 2011 and is currently the president of the American Marketing Association chapter on campus. He loves this school and is excited to see what the future has in store for him.
Sharon A. White.
Sharon is receiving her Master of Arts in Journalism. Her extensive work in Holly Springs includes hosting 2 local radio talk shows, working as a newspaper reporter, columnist, director of the Business Development Center, and is a board member of the Holly Springs Chamber of Commerce. Currently, Sharon is host of the Rust College Campus Report, a regional television show covering North Mississippi, the Delta, and West Alabama, and she's a production assistant for Rust College Public Radio. She is a member of Kappa Tau Alpha National Journalism Honor Society and the National Association of Black Journalists. Sharon is married to Lawrence White, and together they have 2 children and 6 grandchildren.
Wan Pei Wu.
Wan Fei, a little girl who comes from a small town with a population of 7 million people in China. She loves her life, loves her journeys, loves her adventures, and loves her dreams. She loves her professors, loves her classmates, loves this small town in Mississippi. She doesn't like the graduation because she doesn't like the farewell and the goodbyes. She doesn't like the departure. She won't say goodbye. She's just moving on.
We're now going to recognize the Bachelor of Science in Integrated Marketing Communication. Again, please try to contain your appreciation until all the candidates have been recognized.
Ashley Brianna Carrillo.
Ashley is receiving her degree in Integrated Marketing Communications. She is one of the first IMC graduates to complete this new program. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked at the Turner Center as a fitness team leader and group fitness instructor. She was also a DJ for Rebel Radio and interned with the sports marketing firm Positive Athlete. Off campus, she loved to adventure off to Whirlpool Trail and take in the beauty of Oxford. Ashley is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Darren Allen Fike.
Darren is receiving his Bachelor of Science degree in Integrated Marketing Communication with a minor in Business Administration. During his time at Ole Miss, he was worked hard at school and on internships. He was a member of Sigma Chi fraternity and the Ole Miss Marketing Organization. He will be pursuing a career in advertising and looks forward to returning to the Grove as an alum of the university. Darren is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Dantarius Terrell Grant.
Dentarius is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in Integrated Marketing Communications with a minor in business. During his time at Ole Miss, he was a member of the Ole Miss football team and was inducted into the M Club. He is a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, and off campus he devoted his time to helping younger students at the local Boys and Girls Club. He is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Victoria Michelle Hodges.
Tori is receiving her Bachelor of Science degree in Integrated Marketing Communication with a minor in Business Administration. She is honored to receive her degree as one of four of the very first graduates of the program. During her time here, she was a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma, participated in club volleyball, and enjoyed attending campus crusades. Although this day is bittersweet, she is eager to move forward and says she will never truly graduate from Ole Miss.
We're now going to recognize the candidates for Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. Please.
Frances Tate Allison.
Frances is receiving her journalism degree with an emphasis in print, a specialization in public relations, and a minor in English. During her time at Ole Miss, she was a member of the Alpha Omicron Pi. She was also a member of Rho Lambda, Gamma Sigma Alpha, and Sigma Tau Delta honor societies. She received an award of excellence at the Pram Prism Awards. Frances is grateful to her family and professors who helped her along the way to become an Ole Miss graduate.
Margaret Hannah Anderson.
Margaret has had a hotty-toddy for years at Ole Miss. She has had her own segment on Newswatch titled Ask Margaret, was a member of the Alpha Omicron Phi Society, and spent a lot of time babysitting Mississippi kids. Margaret will be spending this summer as an au pair in Belgium with an ultimate goal of mission work or sports broadcasting when she returns. Margaret would like to thank Mom, Daddy, KK, and Scooter for putting up with her diva-like tendencies. She appreciates it and she loves you.
Patricia Lindsay Antonelli.
Patricia is receiving her journalism degree with an emphasis in broadcasting and public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a bartender at the library sports bar, as a reporter in the Student Media Center, and currently works for the Memphis Grizzlies. She was a member of Kappa Alpha Theta. Patricia is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Ashley Janae Ball.
Ashley is a broadcast journalism major with an emphasis in public relations and a minor in English from Pontotoc, Mississippi. Upon graduating, she plans to work at a PR agency. Her dream is to one day own her own agency.
Kirby Cole Barkley.
Kirby is receiving his Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. He couldn't think of anything clever to write, so he just says he's grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Panisha A. Barnes.
Panisha is receiving 2 degrees, one in broadcast journalism with a PR specialization, and another in biology. During her Ole Miss tenure, she worked as a DM staff writer and was a member of the Diversity Rocks Committee. She has been an active member of Image since her freshman year. Off campus, she volunteered at the local nursing homes and veterans home. She says she is indebted to this amazing journalism department and the dedicated professors who changed her life, helping make her the reporter and PR professional that she is today. The Meek School of Journalism and New Media will always have a place in her heart.
Jacob Aaron Batt.
Jacob is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked in the Student Media Center as news editor for the DM and programming director of Rebel Radio. He was a member of Phi Kappa Tau and the Journalism Student Advisory Board. Jacob is headed off to Cajun country to cover local government for the Daily Comet in Thibodaux, Louisiana.
Sydney Lee Bales.
Sydney is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During her time at Ole Miss, she was an active member of Phi Mu sorority where she served on the executive committee and others. Some of her favorite memories from her time here are those spent in the Grove with friends and family during football season. Sydney would like to thank her family, especially her parents, for the opportunity to come to Ole Miss and for the love and support that they have shown her throughout her 4 years here.
Alexa Danielle Bodie.
Alexa is from Fairhope, Alabama. She is receiving her journalism degree with an emphasis in print and a specialization in public relations with a minor in business administration. Alexa is a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority, where she participated in several philanthropy events. Off campus, she enjoyed volunteering with the United Way of Oxford-Lafayette County. She cherishes her time spent at Ole Miss and looks forward to visiting for football games.
Bradley Dean Bolaware.
Bradley is a print journalism major and has worked for the Ole Miss Yearbook for 2 years. He would like to thank his friends and family for their support throughout his time at Ole Miss. A special thanks to Deidre Jackson, Curtis Wilkie, and Dorothy Knight, as well as everyone at the Student Media Center. They really helped make Ole Miss feel like home.
Tara Marie Brando.
Tara is the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Tim Brando from Shreveport, Louisiana. She is a member of the Chancellor's Leadership Class of 2013. During her time at Ole Miss, she has been involved in various leadership organizations, Ole Miss Ambassadors, Order of Omega, and the Delta Gamma sorority. Journalism also occupied much of Tara's time at Ole Miss, from hosting Hottie Toddy Homemade her freshman year on Newswatch, to delivering the sports headlines on the Fox News morning show, Fox and Friends, while she interned in New York City. Tara would like to thank her family, friends, and everyone in the Meek School for encouraging her to be the best she can be every day.
Kelton Ron Brooks.
Kelton is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a writer for the DM and served as a member of the executive board of the University of Mississippi Association of Black Journalists. During the summer, he will intern at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette covering breaking news and sports.
Alexandra McClure Brooks Tolley.
Alexandra is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a minor in psychology. During her time at Ole Miss, she was an active member of her sorority, Kappa Kappa Gamma, serving as social chair of that organization. She is excited and honored to be an Ole Miss graduate. She will attend law school in Arkansas in the fall.
Ross Christian Cabell.
Ross is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a staff writer for the DM, was a contributor to Rebel Radio, and as a writer for the Ole Miss Yearbook. He served as a houseboy at Tri Delta Sorority House with dignity and honor. He wants that made clear. Off campus, he cherished the time spent with his world-class friends. Ross is proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
David Anthony Camp.
David is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a minor in English. At his time at Ole Miss, David joined the fraternity Sigma Phi Epsilon. He is grateful, thankful, and honored to be an Ole Miss graduate, now looking forward to joining the ranks of alumni, as well as becoming a future, he just wants to be an alumnus.
Kara Elizabeth Campbell.
Kara is receiving her Bachelor of Arts in print journalism with a specialization in public relations and a minor in English. During her time at the University of Mississippi, she's been an active member of the Public Relations Association of Mississippi and Southern Public Relations Foundation. Future plans include working with nonprofit organizations around the Southeast. Kara would also like to thank all of her professors and advisors at the University of Mississippi for making her college experience so meaningful.
Emily Michelle Segelski.
Emily is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a specialization in magazines. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a reporter and columnist for the Daily Mississippian and on the Ole Miss Yearbook. She also worked as the lifestyles editor and senior editor of the DM. Off campus, she enjoyed holding various positions in her local newspaper, the Laurel Leader Call. Emily is honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Camille Harrison Condry.
Camille is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a minor in Spanish. During her time at Ole Miss, she was a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma. Off campus, she also cherished her time with friends and the live music scene that Oxford has to offer. Camille is grateful and excited to be an Ole Miss graduate.
William Dupre Connolly.
William is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and public relations. While at Ole Miss, William was a member of the Kappa Alpha Order and Sergeant at Arms of the Associated Student Body. He volunteered at Leapfrog, a nonprofit after-school program that tutors at-risk children. William is grateful to his parents, teachers, and friends for all their support. Hotty toddy.
Kimberly Nicole Dandridge.
Kimberly is a native of Como, Mississippi. She is the daughter of Ernest and Deborah Dandridge. While at Ole Miss, Kimberly has been extremely active. She is a member of the Phi Mu sorority and served as the 2012-2013 student body president. Kim has also had the opportunity to travel to Russia and Argentina.
Ashley Elizabeth Davis.
Ashley is receiving a Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with a Public Relations specialization. During her time at Ole Miss, she has served as a junior homecoming maid, a member of Ole Miss Ambassadors, Student Alumni Council, Kappa Delta Sorority, Senior Class Council, and as a writer for the Daily Mississippian. Ashley was also a member of Sigma Alpha Society and Campus Crusaders.
Julia Lee Davis.
Julia is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with specializations in public relations and magazine publishing. She was a member of the Alpha Omicron Phi and College Republicans. Off campus, she enjoyed volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club of Oxford. After graduation, Julia will move to New York City to pursue a job opportunity at one of the nation's leading public relations firms.
Therese Rashawn Davis.
Therese is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and a minor in psychology. Therese plans to work in television after college and is proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Alex Brogan DeJoy, cum laude.
Alex is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and magazines. During her time at Ole Miss, she served as Vice President of Public Relations for the Pan-Hellenic Executive Council and was a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma. Off campus, she enjoyed working as an intern for Game Day magazine and Covey Rise magazine. Alex is honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Jordan Bryant Driggers.
Jordan is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a reporter in the Student Media Center and was a member of Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity. Jordan is the first person in his family to receive a degree at the University of Mississippi, and he is honored to own that title. He has cherished his time here at Ole Miss, but most of all, he's grateful for the strong relationships he has built with close friends at the university.
Anna Elizabeth Ellenberg.
Anna is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and a minor in English. During her time at Ole Miss, she has worked at the Student Media Center as a Newswatch director, producer, and anchor for Newswatch 99. She has also interned with WMC Action 5 News in Memphis, field produced for the New York Times, wrote for the Daily Mississippian, and was in the Fox News course taught by Shepard Smith. She was a member of Omicron Delta Kappa, the National Society of Collegiate Scholars and College Republicans. Anna is blessed to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Sarah Faith Freeman.
Sarah is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and a minor in business. While at Ole Miss, Sarah interned at WREG News Channel 3 in Memphis and at the Habitat for Humanity of Greater Memphis. Starting this summer, Sarah will begin an exciting internship at Fox News in New York City to pursue her goal of becoming an anchor. Sarah couldn't imagine herself being a graduate from any other university and is truly honored to call herself an Ole Miss grad.
James Scott Fuller.
James is graduating with a degree in journalism with a minor in English. During his time at Ole Miss, Scott worked as an intern at the Yakanapatapwa Arts Council.
It's easy for you to say.
He also participated in the freshman writing competition for the online magazine, The Venture. Scott has grown to call Ole Miss his home and hopes one day to send his children to this great university.
Corey Jerome Gaines.
Corey is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During his time at Ole Miss, he played for the football team and volunteered countless hours in the Oxford community. Corey would like to thank his mom, big sister Dion, and William Hill for always motivating him when times got tough.
Avery Gray Golden.
Avery is from Amherst, West Virginia, and graduated from the Meek School of Journalism with a degree in print journalism, a minor in English, and a specialization in public relations. She joined R.J. Reynolds as a territory manager in April 2013 with responsibility for over 100 stores in a multi-county region. She now lives in Atlanta, Georgia.
Alexandra Marie Gibbert.
Alex is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcast. During her time at Ole Miss, she interned with rebelgrove.com covering Ole Miss sports. She was a member of Delta Gamma, Athletic Ambassadors, and Ole Miss Diamond Girls. Alex is honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Catherine Elise Glenn.
Catherine is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and minor in studio art. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a reporter in the Student Media Center. She was a member of the Society of Professional Journalists and the Food Action Team. Off campus, she cherished her time volunteering at the State Veterans Home and the local animal shelter. Catherine is proud and blessed to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Hillary Elizabeth Goodfellow.
Hillary is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and specialization in public relations. Her minor is political science. During her time at Ole Miss, she held positions of Chief Marketing Officer and President of Kappa Alpha Theta. She was also a member of Order of Omega, a Relay for Life team captain, a student lobbyist with the Fraternity Sorority Political Action Committee. And Hillary would like to thank everyone who has helped her in earning her degree and becoming a graduate of the university.
Margaret Ann Gracie.
Margaret is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During her time at Ole Miss, she was dedicated to her work and cherished her classes that gave her experience in reporting and media. She also held an internship at Nashville's independent radio station, Lightning 100. Margaret is very honored to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Ellen Lucille Graves, cum laude.
Ellen is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a minor in political science. During her time at Ole Miss, she was a member of the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College and enjoyed writing stories for several publications. Off campus, she enjoyed working as a social media consultant for My Favorite Shoes. Ellen is thankful for the wonderful education she received at the Meek School of Journalism and is honored to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Edward Douglas Grossman.
Edward is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a minor in art history. He is planning to move back to his hometown of St. Louis and pursue a career in healthcare. Edward learned many life lessons during his years at University of Mississippi and will always treasure the memories of friendships with his fellow students and professors. He will forever be proud to be a graduate of Ole Miss.
Chelsea Catherine Handley.
Chelsea has had some exciting years at the University of Mississippi. While journalism was not her first choice as a major, once she switched, she found a home in the Meek School of Journalism. Upon graduating with her bachelor's degree, Chelsea will assume the position of Head of Marketing and Media Relations at Camp Hopewell, located here in Oxford.
Rachel Kathleen Harper.
Rachel is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in Broadcast Journalism and a minor in English. During her time at Ole Miss, Rachel worked with the Ole Miss Sports Productions, Marketing, and Media Relations and was a sports anchor for Newswatch. Rachel is thankful and feels blessed for the opportunities that Ole Miss has given her and is a proud graduate of the University of Mississippi. Hotty toddy.
Taylor Elizabeth Harrell.
Taylor is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a public relations intern for the Yoknapatawpha Arts Council and as an administrative assistant for Freeland March Scholl Attorneys at Law. She was also a member of the Associated Student Body and the Pi Beta Phi Fraternity for Women. Taylor is honored to now call herself an Ole Miss graduate, and she would like to thank God and her amazing family for allowing her this opportunity and Ole Miss for giving her the best 4 years of her life.
John Terrius Cartel Haywood.
John Terrius is the son of John R. Haywood and Denise and Terrace Nash. He worked with the Daily Mississippian and the Ole Miss Yearbook. The highlight of his time at Ole Miss include Bill Rose's Delta Project class and studying abroad in South Africa with Dean Norton. He is a former president of the Society of Professional Journalists. What he'll miss most is working on late-breaking stories for the Daily Mississippian. John plans to attend graduate school for teaching this summer. In the fall, he will teach at a high school in his native Mississippi Delta. Eventually, he hopes to work as a White House correspondent.
James Bennett Hipp.
Bennett is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. While at Ole Miss, he became very involved in student media, covering Ole Miss football for 3 seasons for the Daily Mississippian. He would like to thank his parents for all their support during his time at college.
Kimberly Elise Hobgood.
Kimberly is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in Broadcast Journalism with a specialization in public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she was an ESPNU correspondent. In addition, she was an active member of the Phi Mu sorority and was involved in multiple honor societies. Thankful for her family's love and support, Kimberly is grateful and honored to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Lalangi Renelle Hoskins.
Lalangi is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During her time at Ole Miss, some of her stories were published in the Daily Mississippian. Off campus, she cherished her time as a professional hairstylist in Batesville. Ultimately, she hopes to work for Fox News in Memphis as an anchor or reporter. Lalangi is blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Caitlin Diane Howell.
Caitlin is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcast. She is the daughter of Daniel and Anna Howell. During her time at Ole Miss, Caitlin worked as a reporter in the Student Media Center, a reporter for WTVA in Tupelo, and a producing intern for WJTV in Jackson. She is a member of Kappa Alpha Theta, where she served as Chief Operating Officer. Caitlin is honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Christina Francis Huck.
Christina is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a photojournalist for the Odyssey newspaper and as a writer for HottyToddy.com. She was a member of Pi Beta Phi sorority all 4 years and cherishes the friends she made and the bond of sisterhood. Christina is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate. Hotty Toddy.
Kirsty Lane Jackson.
Kirsty is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a minor in English. She is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Molly Ann Jarabica.
Molly is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a specialization in public relations. She also received a Bachelor's of Business Administration in Management with an emphasis in human resources and a minor in Spanish. During her time at Ole Miss, she was a Lucky Day Scholar and member of Tri Delta and Who's Who among students in American universities and colleges. She also served as a student ambassador, Pan-Hellenic recruitment counselor, and Diversity Rocks committee member.
Victoria Alexandra Jett.
Victoria is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a specialization in public relations as well as a minor in history. During her time at Ole Miss, she was an active member of her sorority, Chi Omega, and she served on her sorority's pledge board and social chair committee. Off campus, she enjoyed spending time with friends, experiencing Oxford, and became better equipped for her career through her work at the Oxford Convention and Visitors Bureau. Victoria is thankful to her family for their continued support during her academic career and is blessed and honored to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Blake Barron Johnson.
Blake is receiving his Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he did reporting for the Daily Mississippian and spent most of his off-campus time with the Baptist Student Union, including 2 years on the leadership team for media and discipleship. Blake is thankful for his time at Ole Miss and for his family's support in everything he has done.
Capril Cadelia Johnson.
Capril is graduating from the University of Mississippi's Meek School of Journalism and New Media with a Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism. She has a broadcast emphasis and a minor in history. While attending the University of Mississippi, she sang in the University of Mississippi Women's Choir and took courses in theater and dance. She is the daughter of Mrs. Evelyn Johnson and Joe Dawkins.
Leighton Willis Jones.
Leighton is receiving his bachelor's degree with an emphasis in print and a minor in English. During his time at Ole Miss, he played football 4 years, and it made him better both on and off the field. He did not join a fraternity, but says in a way he has his own band of brothers through athletics. He enjoys hunting, fishing, working out, and spending time with family. He's very honored and blessed to have his supportive family behind him every step of the way.
Michael James Kelly.
Michael says he came to Ole Miss searching for an escape, something different from high school life, a chance to meet new people and start life in a new place. Attending Ole Miss gave him just that, and he says he met great people from around the nation, all while earning a great education. He says, and here's a quote, "Ole Miss helped me discover who I am and what kind of person I want to be in the future of my life." After graduation, he hopes to work on air on radio, but says broadcast or media sales is his backup plan.
Joel Jarrell Kite.
Joel is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and a minor in Parks and Recreation Management. During his time at Ole Miss, he participated on the Rebel football team, earning a letter in all 4 years. Joel is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Mary Catherine Kitchings.
Mary is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a specialization in public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she interned with the Oxford Chamber of Commerce. She was a member of Delta 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 sorority and the EDU Ganda Club on campus, where she headed the benefit concert to raise money for children's education in Uganda. She plans to move to New Orleans after graduation to pursue a career in public relations. Mary Catherine is proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Christopher Taylor Lawyer.
Christopher is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a specialization in public relations. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a reporter for the Daily Mississippian, a media relations intern for Ole Miss Athletics, and a housing ambassador. He was a member of Gamma Beta Phi Honor Society, the Residential College South, Catholic Campus Ministry, played intramural tennis, soccer, indoor soccer, racquetball, and sand volleyball, and completed 2 study abroad experiences in Italy and Northern Ireland. Chris is forever grateful for the memories and experience he received at Ole Miss, which helped him get his PR position at Michigan International Speedway.
Robert Eric Lee.
Eric Lee is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in journalism with an emphasis in broadcast and a minor in business. He is proud to be graduating from the Meek School of Journalism and says he appreciates the support from the staff and teachers because without them, he wouldn't have found his true calling.
Kalisha Marie Lockett.
Kalisha is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and a minor in English. During a time at Ole Miss, she worked as a DJ for Rebel Radio. She also was a global ambassador for the international students. And off campus, she volunteered her time as a tutor for the Leapfrog program at St. Peter's Methodist Church and at the local animal shelter. Kalisha is honored and most importantly blessed to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Blake David Long.
Blake is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. He also completed a minor in history. During his time at Ole Miss, Blake was a manager for the Rebel softball team. Off campus, he worked part-time for the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal in Tupelo and worshiped at the Oxford Church of Christ. Blake is blessed and honored to have attained his degree at Ole Miss.
Reagan Savannah Lucer.
Reagan is from Brandon, Mississippi. She will earn a minor in the cinema program as well as her Bachelor of Journalism degree. She plans to move to Los Angeles to work in the film industry.
Alexander Edward Lowe, cum laude.
Alexander is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he ran on the university's track and cross-country teams, making the SEC All-Academic Team 3 times and receiving a nomination for Rebel Scholar Athlete of the Year. Alexander is honored to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Lauren Hannah Loylis, summa cum laude.
Lauren is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and a specialization in public relations and a minor in international studies. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked at the Student Media Center as a producer and anchor. She also has interned with Ole Miss Sports Productions and Media Relations. She was a member of Gamma Beta Phi and the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. Off campus, she has volunteered at the Mississippi Veterans Home. Lauren is proud to be an Ole Miss graduate and plans to continue her education here at Ole Miss with a graduate degree in marketing.
Kevin Kane Madden, magna cum laude.
Kane is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a magazine specialization. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a writer, photographer, news editor, and as the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mississippian. He also served as editor-in-chief of the Mississippi Observer and worked for the Magazine Innovation Center. He was a member of Kappa Tau Alpha Journalism Honor Society, the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honor College, Phi Kappa Phi, and the Society of Professional Journalists. Off campus, he enjoyed volunteering at the local animal shelter and during the big event. Kane is honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Gerard Darnez Monaghan.
Gerard would like to thank his family, friends, and journalism professors for putting up with him for the past 4 years. He hopes to one day be a television producer in New York, but for right now, he actually has a job, was too modest to mention it, in Jackson as a television producer.
Thomas Joseph Martins.
A native of Como, Mississippi, Tommy Joe is a broadcast journalism major and English minor. He is currently living in Nashville, Tennessee, and writing freelance sports editorials for multiple online publications. He especially wants to thank his parents, Pam and Craig, for all of their love and support.
Mary Houston Matthews.
Mary Houston is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in broadcast journalism with an emphasis in public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a marketing intern for Baptist Memorial Hospital, was a member of Chi Omega and the Public Relations Association of Mississippi. Mary Houston is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Lauren Ann McLaughlin.
Lauren is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked on News Watch at the Student Media Center and completed numerous journalism internships. She is also a member of Gamma Beta Phi Honor Society. Off campus, she spends her time working and preparing for her future. Lauren Ann is excited to see what's ahead.
Austin Kent Miller, cum laude.
Austin is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a student assistant for Ole Miss Athletics, then as a sports writer, sports editor, and managing editor for the Daily Mississippian. He also interned at ESPN in Bristol, Connecticut. He was a member of Delta Psi fraternity. He will attend graduate school at the University of Mississippi, where he'll pursue a Master of Arts degree in Integrated Marketing Communication and work as a graduate assistant for Ole Miss Athletics.
Eddie Francisco Montalvo.
Eddie is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and PR specializations. He will also receive a minor in Spanish. During his time at Ole Miss, he has worked as a writer for the DM. He was a member of Sigma Mu fraternity and enjoyed volunteering at the UM Food Bank. Eddie would like to thank his mom and dad for the wonderful education he received from Ole Miss.
Meredith Elena Moore.
Meredith is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a marketing intern for Vaughn Design and as a public relations intern for North Mississippi Medical Center. She was a member of the Student Art Association and Society of Professional Journalists. Meredith is proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Haley Ann Morgan.
Haley is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she had a public relations internship at Volunteer Oxford. She was also a member of Alpha Omicron Pi and is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Margaret Morgan.
Margaret Ann is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in broadcast journalism with a specialization in public relations and a minor in public policy leadership. During her time at Ole Miss, she has worked as a reporter, anchor, and correspondent for the award-winning nightly newscast. She was named Best Multimedia Reporter by the Southeastern Journalism Conference and recently won first place in the National Society of Professional Journalists Mark of Excellence Breaking News category for her live coverage of Hurricane Isaac. Margaret Ann was elected by the student body as this year's Miss Ole Miss and is one of 10 students to be inducted into the university's Hall of Fame. She will spend the summer producing at WAPT News in Jackson. Margaret Ann is the daughter of Tommy Morgan and the late Becky Morgan from Macomb. She says thanks to many experiences, she could not be prouder to call Ole Miss her alma mater, and especially the Meek School of Journalism.
Jennifer Lauren Nasser.
Jennifer is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. While at Ole Miss, she served as a news reporter, campus news editor, and lifestyles editor for the Daily Mississippian. She was a member of the competition corps on campus for 2 years. She was also an active member of the First Baptist Oxford Celebration Choir. Jennifer describes her 4 years at Ole Miss as enjoyable and unforgettable.
Sasha Lachey Owens.
In addition to earning her degree, Sasha Owens was a part of the French club on campus and had the pleasure of studying abroad in France. She also earned a certificate for completing Euromed Management Program.
Jennifer Sue Peterson, magna cum laude.
Jennifer is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and dual minors in business administration and English. During her time at Ole Miss, she was an active member of her sorority, Alpha Omicron Phi, and was also a member of Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. In the fall, she will be attending law school at the University of Minnesota. Jennifer cherishes the time she spent at Ole Miss and is not only proud to be an Ole Miss graduate, but a rebel as well.
Kamal Peter Petro.
Kamal is receiving a Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a sports writer for the Daily Mississippian, covering several different sports. He's also freelanced for his hometown paper, the Sun Herald. He's been a rebel his whole life and is proud and thrilled to be graduating from Ole Miss.
Joshua Bryant Presley.
Josh is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a columnist, reporter, and copy editor for the DM. Josh is honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate and an Ole Miss rebel.
Zachary Edson Purcell.
Zach is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcast and a minor in music. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a reporter for the Student Media Center and Newswatch. He was a member of Sigma Chi Eta chapter, and off campus, he volunteered alongside United Airlines employees for kids' meals to make sack lunches for underprivileged children in Houston. Zach is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Stephen Edward Quinn.
Stephen is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During his time at Ole Miss, Stephen has reported on air for WREG in Memphis, as well as WTVA and WCBI in Tupelo. He has been awarded a National Mark of Excellence for his reporting by the Society of Professional Journalists and at the Mississippi Associated Press, as well as the Southeastern Journalism Conference. He plans to pursue a career as a TV reporter and wants to thank his mother and grandmother for all their love and support.
Michael William Quirk.
Michael is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he was a reporter for the DM, a member of Kappa Sigma fraternity, a volunteer at the Oxford Humane Society, and with the university's disability services. He would like to thank his mother and father for always believing in and supporting him, and Ole Miss for shaping him into the man he is today.
Casey Lynn Raines, cum laude.
Casey is from Southern Illinois. Her major is broadcast journalism with a minor in aerospace studies. She's worked for Ole Miss Sports and ESPN during her years at Ole Miss and was awarded an internship over her 2012 summer break, where she worked in public relations in New York City at the LFB Media Group. She will be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force later today. She is a logistics readiness. She is a logistics readiness officer and will be sent to Elmdorf Air Force Base in Alaska for her first assignment.
Molly Elizabeth Rhodes.
Molly is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she had the opportunity to intern in New York City through the New York Internship Experience. She was a member of Pi Beta Phi, where she served as a social chair. Molly is excited and blessed to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Alessandra Victoria Richards.
Alessandra is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in public relations. During her time at Ole Miss, she has been an active member of Kappa Kappa Gamma. Alessandra will be spending her summer in England and hopes to continue her journalism and PR degree in Washington, D.C.
Brittany Nicole Riley.
Brittany is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and public relations. During her time at the university, she has interned with Ole Miss Communications and Ole Miss Athletics. She was a member of Alpha Omicron Pi sorority and served as a member of the Junior Panhellenic Council. Off campus, Brittany enjoyed spending time with friends and enjoying all that Oxford has to offer. She is grateful for her experiences here and proud to be an Ole Miss rebel.
Ryan Walker Riley.
Ryan is from Jackson, Mississippi, and graduates today with a bachelor degree in broadcast journalism and a specialization in public relations, as well as a minor in English. Ryan most enjoyed film and photography courses while at Ole Miss and says he will miss the day-to-day interactions with classmates and professors, but will certainly not miss searching for a parking spot on campus. Ryan is grateful for the wonderful times he had at the university and looks forward to the next chapter.
Jolie Paige Robinson.
Jolie is receiving her Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with an emphasis in broadcast and specialization in public relations. She is the daughter of Fred and Vicki Robinson. During her time at Ole Miss, she has worked as a PR intern in London and is a member of Kappa Alpha Theta, where she served as philanthropy chair. Jolie is honored and proud to be a graduate of her mother's alma mater, Hotty Toddy.
Angela Ruth Rogalski.
Angela is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a specialization in magazines. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as one of Dr. Samir Husney's assistants at the Magazine Innovation Center, wrote a weekly column for the DM, and started and edited Delta Post, a website dedicated to the people, culture, heritage of the Mississippi Delta. Angela is blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss grad, and knows that without the love and support from God, her family, especially her husband and children, and friends, she would never have been able to see this journey through. Without the challenges, support, and direction of the professors at the University of Mississippi, she would have never have attained this amazing achievement. She sends special thanks to the school's professors who believed in her, challenged her, and gave her the opportunity to realize her dream.
Emily Teresa Rowland, magna cum laude.
Emily is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a magazine specialization. During her time at Ole Miss, she has worked for the Daily Mississippian, progressing from writer to lifestyles and campus news editor to managing editor to copy chief, ultimately becoming the editor-in-chief her senior year. She was inducted into the Kappa Tau Alpha, a National Journalism Honor Society, selected for Who's Who among American colleges and universities, member and vice president of the Society of Professional Journalists, and a member of the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. Emily was inducted into the Ole Miss Hall of Fame. She also interned at several publications each summer, including the Meridian Star and Good Housekeeping magazine and Nearsay.com in New York City. Emily is grateful to her family for their support and both blessed and honored to call herself an Ole Miss rebel.
Christopher David Rupel.
Chris is receiving his bachelor's degree in print journalism with an emphasis in public relations. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a student assistant with the Ole Miss Athletic Media Relations, as a marketing intern for Positive Athlete Pittsburgh, and as a public relations intern for the Meek School. Chris was a member of Kappa Sigma fraternity and held the position of public relations chairman. He's planning to attend graduate school at Ole Miss for integrated marketing communications in the fall and can't wait to be in Oxford to see Hugh Freeze bring the Rebels to an SEC championship.
Norman C. Wright III, cum laude.
Norman is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked in the Student Media Center as a reporter, sports anchor, and news anchor for Newswatch 99, and as a photography editor for the Daily Mississippian. He was published as a writer and photographer in Whatever Happened to Main Street, a magazine published by the Meek School. He interned for Ole Miss Sports as a sports reporter and sportscaster, and interned for ESPNU Campus Connection. He traveled this past summer to the country of Togo with Engineers Without Borders to help document and raise money for a community development project. He was vice president of Omicron Delta Kappa Honor Society and a member of the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College, Phi Eta Sigma Honor Society, the National Society of Collegiate Scholars, Gamma Beta Phi Honor Society, the University of Mississippi's chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists, and was named to the Chancellor's Honor Roll. He is eternally grateful for the nurturing support of Ole Miss and the journalism school, and proud to be a graduate. He is headed for graduate studies at the Newhouse School of Communication at Syracuse University this summer.
Jamie Alexander Sharman.
Jamie is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a specialization in public relations and a minor in English. During her time at Ole Miss, she was a rebelette, a member of the Public Relations Association of Mississippi, and the Chi Omega fraternity, where she served as recruitment chair. Jamie is grateful, blessed, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Brittany Nicole Shields, cum laude.
Brittany is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in broadcast journalism with a PR specialization. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as an intern with the university's social media and communications department and was on the dean's honor roll. Off campus, she cherished her time with friends and her little brother, who also attends the university. Brittany is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Meredith Fagan Sims.
Meredith is graduating today with a journalism degree, a PR specialization, and a minor in English. She completed an internship while she was a student at Ole Miss and received an award from the Mississippi Associated Press Broadcast Association. Her favorite memories of Ole Miss were spent in the Grove, but she will miss the people she met the most. She wants to thank her parents for supporting her hopes and dreams.
Nicole Morgan Smith.
Nicole is receiving her bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism with a PR specialization. She will also receive a minor in English. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a public relations intern with Mississippi Blood Services and as a liaison between the campus of Ole Miss and the Oxford Drawing Station. She worked as a reporter for Newswatch. She was a member of Chi Omega sorority, the Public Relations Association of Mississippi, Cardinal Club, and was vice president for the Habitat for Humanity chapter. She would like to thank her parents for the opportunity she had to receive an education from Ole Miss. She is honored and grateful to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Celie Shaw Smith.
Celie is from Eupora, Mississippi, and graduates with a journalism major. While at Ole Miss, Celie served as membership director and vice president of Phi Mu sorority, as well as co-director for the Student Programming Board. In her senior year, Celie was selected for Ole Miss Who's Who among students in American universities and colleges. Also in her senior year, Celie worked as a public relations intern for the Office of the Mayor here in Oxford. Future plans for Celie include pursuing a career in the public relations field.
Jalecia Marie Stewart.
Jalecia is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with a minor in English. Her first 2 years here at Ole Miss, she was a member of the Ole Miss women's track and field team. She was also acknowledged as a scholar student athlete during her 4th semester here at Ole Miss. She hopes to continue her success as a producer or PR professional. She is grateful, blessed, honored, and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
William Eugene Strouth.
Will is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting and magazines. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a photographer and graphic designer for the Daily Mississippian. Off campus, he worked at Lusa Pastry Cafe and played sports with his friends. He's honored to have attended and graduated from such a fine university. He plans to become certified to teach English as a foreign language and is seeking employment in Germany. He would also like to express his gratitude to his family. He is so proud that his grandparents could be with him here today, but a special thanks to his mother and father for their love and financial support. I know it hurts sometimes, Dad, but I promise it was worth it.
Miriam O'Neill Taylor, magna cum laude.
Miriam is receiving 2 degrees, one in English and one in journalism, as well as a minor in art. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as a writer and designer for both the Daily Mississippian and the Ole Miss Annual, where she served as the design editor for the 2013 school year. She was a member of Chi Omega sorority, the Sally McDonald Barksdale Honors College, and Phi Kappa Phi. Off campus, she has interned at Mississippi Magazine, Thacker Mountain Radio, Rolling Stone Magazine, and House Beautiful Magazine. While she is excited about the next chapter of her life, she will be attending Syracuse University in pursuit of an MA in magazine, newspaper, and online journalism. She is sad to be leaving Ole Miss. She will always cherish the memories and friendship she has made here and is extremely honored and proud to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Peyton Scott Thigpen, cum laude.
Peyton is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print and a minor in African American Studies. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked as a writer for the DM and contributed to the Meek School Delta magazine. Off campus, he enjoyed his time working at the after-school program Leapfrog. He'll be teaching 7th grade science in Belzani next year. Peyton is excited to be graduating from the university and is hopeful for the future.
Jake Caraway Thompson.
Jake has been a writer for the Daily Mississippian, beginning as campus news writer before moving to sports writer, covering Ole Miss women's soccer and basketball teams, Ole Miss rifle, golf, and tennis teams. He continued his sports writing as a stringer for the Oxford Eagle, also contributing to the Greenwood Commonwealth. Being sports editor for our yearbook, the Ole Miss, a sports and entertainment commentator for Rebel Radio, working at the Ole Miss Alumni Center and participating in the Shepard Smith course rounded out Jake's tenure here at Ole Miss. Jake's crowning achievement was displaying his dancing skills as a member of the famous and legendary Dancing Miss Stones at Swayze Field while supporting our basketball Rebels.
Kayla V. Tynes.
Kayla is a print journalism major with a minor in English. She's a member of Phi Mu sorority. She hopes to enjoy the summer on the water with friends and family. She plans to become a food critic for Southern Style magazine and plans to wear her alumni sticker proudly at all home games. Hotty toddy.
Brittany Danielle Vaughn.
Brittany is from Tupelo. She worked as an intern at C-SPAN and is the daughter of Gary and Laura Vaughn, graduating with a bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism.
Sarah Elizabeth Vaughn, cum laude.
Sarah Elizabeth is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print media and public relations and a double minor in history and English. During her time at Ole Miss, Sarah was a media relations intern for both Ole Miss Athletics and the Mississippi River Kings hockey team, as well as a writer and reporter for the Daily Mississippian. Sarah is proud and honored to be a graduate of the Meek School of Journalism at the University of Mississippi.
Benjamin Troy Vondrali.
Benjamin is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in print. During his time at Ole Miss, he helped with the production of the Daily Mississippian, and he interned for Golf Magazine in New York City during the summer of his junior year. He was a member of Sigma Phi Lepsilon, to which he held the titles of pledge trainer and head of intramural sports. Ben finished his collegiate career in December and is currently working in Denver, Colorado as a commercial real estate broker. Ben is extremely grateful for everything that the University of Mississippi has given to him, and he will forever cherish the friendships and memories made during his time at Ole Miss. Hotty toddy.
Jamie Jamal Waring.
Jamie is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree and an emphasis in print with a minor in English. During his time at Ole Miss, he worked with the DM Online, and he was involved with Ole Miss intramurals. Off campus, he worked closely with the Oxford Parks Commission, volunteering to coach kids' basketball teams. Jamie is blessed, grateful, and honored to be an Ole Miss graduate.
Nicholas Andrew Will.
Nick is receiving his Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism with an emphasis in broadcasting. During his time at Ole Miss, Nick worked as a director and producer for Newswatch, as well as a reporter and news anchor for the show. He was a member of the Alpha Chi Omega fraternity. Nick is excited, blessed, and honored to be able to call Ole Miss his alma mater.
Sidney Jackson Williams, summa cum laude.
A Philadelphia, Mississippi native, Sidney Williams is receiving his degree in broadcast journalism with a specializations in public relations. After graduation, Sidney hopes to work as a PR professional in the South while continuing his education by getting a graduate degree in English. Sidney is the recipient of the university's highest academic honor, the Taylor Medal, and is recognized as this year's journalism undergraduate with the highest student ranking. He is the son of Sid and Mickey Williams and would like to thank his 4-year-old best friend and future rebel, Laura Francis, for coming today.
Leanna Danielle Young.
Leanna is receiving her Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism and a second in anthropology. During her time at Ole Miss, she worked as an account executive for the Daily Mississippian and was later promoted to sales manager for the Student Media Center. She was also a teaching assistant for Professor Darren Sinefsky's Journalism 273 graphic design class. She was a member of the National Model United Nations Council, where she served as head of the Human Rights and the African Development Banking Committees. Off campus, she was a social media marketing coordinator for the Charleston Gateway to the Delta Festival. Soon after graduation, she is moving to Nashville, Tennessee. She is thankful to be a part of the Ole Miss family.
Mary Kelly Zaleski.
Mary Kelly is a senior print journalism major with a specialization in public relations. She's from Houston, Texas, and a member of Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority. After spending last summer interning at the Vail Daily in Colorado, she hopes to write one day for a magazine where she gets to cover stories about traveling or anything outdoors. Thank you.
We take a long time because we want to honor each of the graduates. We hope you don't mind how long this program has been. During the early 1980s, there was a star receiver on Coach Steve Sloan's Rebel football team, Norman C. Wright Jr. More importantly for some of us in journalism, he was in the wedding party of one of our distinguished graduates, Rose Jackson Flanoro. My wife Susan and I were at the ceremony when when Rose and Richard Flanoro were married. Some of the groomsmen were football players who had been recruited by Rose. They were big and in the front of that little church in Clarksdale, and they seemed to crush it with their size. During the ceremony, Norman C. Wright Jr. sang the Lord's Prayer. The socialites of Oxford who were there to honor Richard and Rose wept as Mr. C. Wright sang. And for years, the writer Willie Morris would talk about that solo. He actually wrote about it in his book, The Courting of Marcus Dupree. Today, Mr. C. Wright will represent parents of graduates in making remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Norman C. Wright Sr., the daddy of graduating senior Norman C. Wright III.
Dr. Norton, distinguished faculty and guests, class of 2013, parents and friends, I am an engineering student. I just had to get that out. As I entered the university in 1977, 15 years after the historic admittance of Mr. James Meredith to the halls of Ole Miss, it was not an easy time. It was not an easy time in 1962, but it was an idea whose time had come. And each year since that long ago fall, some 50 years later, Ole Miss has continued to evolve into a highly competitive and impressive institution of academia and diversity. As my son, along with your sons and your daughters, sit poised to graduate and go on to pursue advanced degrees or careers in their fields of choice, they will find that their degree from Ole Miss is not simply a piece of paper or a certificate of achievement. No. They will find that this degree will prove to be an impressive calling card into the future. For they now hold in their hands, you all hold in your hands a degree from the Ivy League of the New South. Yes. No longer is Ole Miss looked upon with the negativity of the past, but the positive hope of a brighter future. A degree from Ole Miss says that we are truly prepared to meet the challenges of today and the advancements for tomorrow. We've earned it together with hard work and diligence, and aided by encouraging, forward-thinking, outstanding, and committed professors, deans, and administrators. 50 years of integration here at Ole Miss, my son, your daughters, our offsprings are graduating into a world filled with infinite possibilities and opportunities, not because of skin color, rather the indisputable revelation of character content. 50 years of integration, 50 years of possibilities, and 50 years of opportunities for everybody who wants to come. Take a minute and just look around you. Look to your left, you can do that, and to your right, and behind you and in front of you. You see an Ole Miss of today, and that Ole Miss of today was made possible by the struggles of yesterday. We see a future together filled with human understanding, academic growth, and love for one another. The love chapter, 1 Corinthians, says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, is not boastful, is not conceited, does not act improperly, is not selfish, is not easily provoked, does not keep a record of wrongdoings, and finds no joy in unrighteousness, rather rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, it believes all things, it hopes all things, and it endures all things. Love never fails. 50 years ago, love triumphed over hatred. And 50 years later, love still reigns supreme. Students that enter here at Ole Miss, a beacon of hope for the New South, finding not only a tolerance for all mankind, but an initiator of brotherhood. There have been many success stories that have come through these halls, initiated by a desire to succeed and aided by the wonder, the splendor, and the excellence that is Ole Miss. I am one of those successes. And you here today, you will be the generation of success whose stories will echo through the annals of time. These degrees that you hold today, young people, that you've received from the University of Mississippi, display them with pride. Put them on your walls, put them in your halls, in your homes, on your offices. But the degree from Ole Miss, that degree will forever be implanted as a memory within your hearts. And as you depart these hallowed halls, you depart with a legacy of excellence that shall stand the test of time, both locally and globally, as the University of Mississippi, our Ole Miss, somebody say our Ole Miss, continues to evolve and chart new destinies and new courses. And when you look back on your time here of fun and learning, you will hear her, Ole Miss, forever calling your name, forever reaching out to those desiring to come, and forever imparting excellence on those who remain. 50 years later, continuing onward, continuing upward, We are Ole Miss. Howdy toddy, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our alma mater.
Way down south in Mississippi, there's a spot that ever calls, where among the hills enfolded stand old alma mater halls, where the trees lift high their branches to the whispering southern breeze. There, Ole Miss is calling, calling to our hearts fond memories. With united hearts we praise thee. All our loyalty is thine, and we hail the alma mater. May thy light forever shine. May it brighter grow and brighter, and with deep affection true, our thoughts shall ever cluster round thee, dear old red and blue. May thy fame throughout thy nation, through thy sons and daughters grow. May thy name forever waken in our hearts a tender glow. May thy counsel and thy spirit ever keep us one in this, that our own shall be thine honor, now and ever, dear Ole Miss.
Please be seated. We'll ask the graduating class to stand, and please join me in congratulating the class of 2013.